explain bliss well, and then you explain misery well.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to think, the gap between the two is so severe that most of us don't know how to get there, but I'm going to say some words that might help. So I'm thinking about it. And the only thing I could think of is, okay, we're all running towards pleasure and running away from pain. That's what we all do. We're trained Americans. That's what we do. Okay, so now, when anything is coming your way, I had the craziest day of this is one of the craziest days I've ever had in my life today, so I'll go over it, and which will help us track bliss in comparison to where my brain might have been. Okay, so I was a youth advocate worker for a while, and I haven't seen this kid in years. I think he was, all the kids I took care of, I think are in prison for murder, literally. So, I mean, which is insane within itself, but I did what I could, and that was it. So, one of the kids walked by today, and he just waved to me. So he just walked by, he didn't come in to say hello, didn't give me a hug, and the last time I seen him, maybe 5-10 years ago, he came and gave me a hug. Maybe he had nothing to say, maybe he felt bad about himself, whatever it was, but I was tracking my mind. Like, now see, ordinarily, if I would have took my brain back 10 years, or 20 years, I would have said, the frickin' kid didn't even come in and say hello to me, didn't hug me, didn't do anything, so I had an expectation there. So I'm just tracking my mind, because that's the only thing you can do to get from there to bliss, is what I'm figuring out.
Yes.
So I tracked it, I'm watching my mind, witnessing the situation, and there's the subtle difference of getting from there to a possibility of bliss. So I tracked my mind and said, well, maybe he's feeling bad about himself, maybe he didn't have time, whatever it was, I waved, he went goodbye, that was it. Another woman comes in today, there's two women arguing, they're fighting like cats and dogs, it was hilarious. So I said, what are you two, in love? You know what I mean? Because they were fighting back and forth, you know, and I had them laughing. They were fighting and then laughing and then fighting, laughing. The woman took off all her clothes in my store. Yeah. She pulled down her pants totally, down to the ground. Okay.
Pawn shop.
I have pawn shops.
Do you have any underwear?
Nothing. She had nothing on. She pulled her pants all the way down. She wanted to show me the goods. I don't know. So she pulled her pants all the way down. So
That's true.
I'm talking to her. Just, okay, I'm just watching her, running around naked in my store. Okay, then she pulled up her clothes, her pants, and I had them both laughing, but therefore they were fighting, now they're laughing. Obviously she was excited, she pulled out her pants. So, alright, so now this happened to me 20 years ago when I first opened my pawn shop. A prostitute came in, she took off all her clothes, and she said, what do you think? And I was like this. I was like this. I was like, what do I think? I think it looks great, but my store, I felt bad. I was nervous. This time the lady's running around naked in my store. After she pulled up her pants, she said to me, oh, do you have cameras? I said, of course I have cameras. So she says to me, am I on camera? I said, of course you're on camera. She said, can you erase it? I said, no, I'm not going to erase it. Why should I erase it? Now I'm having a blast. Now she's shaking at the window, you know. And I said, no, I don't have any cameras. Don't worry about it. So then she lets that go. And she's telling me to rush. Now she's doing all this craziness, telling me to rush. Then she says to me, well, hurry up, blah, blah, blah. And then I said something else, I don't know what. And then she took off her shirt. Right? Took off her shirt. And her breasts are just hanging there. So we went through all that. And I said, well, why don't you sign the paper with your breasts? You know, even if you're going to sign, why don't you sign with the breasts? She took a pen, she's going like this on her breast, and then she's stamping the paper. She said, look, it's working. This is right in my shop, right? I said, okay, that was great. She pulls up her shirt. The two start fighting again, arguing, whatever they were doing. I'm just watching the show. Gene was in my store before. So, anyway, going along with the show.
You were there.
You kept your pants on, though, right? Not at this
I had my
moment.
pants on.
Okay, but
My pants were on. So they did all that craziness. Then I said, oh, well, we're about the same age. She was born in 63, I'm born in 61. She was 49, I'm 52. And then she says to me, I'm drunk, And I said, really? I had no idea. It's amazing. Right, you're drunk. What a surprise. Then she says to me, She said, you're not born the same time I am. You look old. You look terrible, she said. And I thought, wow, I was feeling kind of okay about myself. She said, you look horrible. You look old. And I thought, okay. Then I'm watching my mind again, of course. I'm like, wow, all right. You know, it was tough. It was a little bit of, you know, I'm a human being. I thought I looked okay. I mean, I'm terrible. Yeah, I mean, I saw her naked. She didn't look so great either. So when I'm watching my mind, it was just hilarious. You know,
She's making that judgment and you still have your pants on.
my pants were still. But anyway,
But you still offered it less than what she was worth though, right?
offered her less.
Yeah, because you're a pawn shop owner, that's what you guys do.
Well, I was giving her money for jewelry or whatever.
So
Yeah.
your point is you didn't react.
Now, my point was that my brain, goes to many places and made the best of the situation. They were fighting, and when people are fighting, I know initially when I was a kid, parents fight or whatever, and you get upset. It sways you. So usually the fighting would get me upset. The nakedness would get me upset. The craziness would get. So, just an example of trying to just flow with it, have fun with it, and not get crazy judgmental, whatever. Just that was a good example
So
of the flow.
Two things to bring out as a moral.
Okay.
One thing, people who are insecure and you are secure, they feel threatened. So they get pride in shaking you off.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
That's probably
so
possible.
Larry knows this girl.
Right.
What she does, the girl was just, so much, just shouts at me, yells at me,
Right.
all these things. You're a yogi, you're supposed to be calm. I offered her, let's talk. Come here. I said, I can teach you breathing, relaxation. I don't want to learn this and that. And she just flowers, this and that. But listen, you're not listening. Okay, I'm listening. Let me give you how much time? 1 minute. She's just telling, she doesn't listen. All I wanted to tell her,
Right.
if you're not happy, you can leave.
Right.
And if you want to stay, I can do anything that makes you happy. But she said, I haven't seen any yogi who is so excited, doesn't have patience. I said, I don't have time. If you want something. So what
Right.
she's putting all these things, throw me off center.
Right.
So anytime, I keep my mouth shut. She shouts, and quiets down. Okay, that's one point. If you are centered and don't react, they would lose their power. Okay. Just in any situation, if you react, you lose. Second point is to come to bliss. It doesn't come, let go of pleasure and get the bliss.
Right.
You go through the pleasure. You saturate yourself with pleasure. And you learn that pleasure is fleeting. Then you seek something higher.
Right.
So it's not an escape. It is maturity of pleasure is bliss.
Right.
Okay, bliss. So people who are blissful, they won't be tempted anymore. People who are escaping pleasure, they become monk or do this and that, just to escape, they will be tempted and fall down. And this is the case of so many spiritual people, they fall down. The story is of a fox. Fox cannot reach the grapes, no matter how much he tried. These grapes are sour anyway. Okay. But somehow, with some storm came and grapes fell down, then he ran for the grapes and ate them. Okay. So grapes are sour because I want it but I cannot get it. So we justify grapes are sour. Okay. This is why people justify pleasure is evil, because I'm a spiritual person. That is escape. So truly go through that, and then at maturity, just you're content. That is bliss comes. So bliss comes not by escaping life. Okay. Like Buddha